Maya, you've been a big help gathering the data, but this needs a senior hand. Sit this one out, let the grown-ups close it.
In front of the CEO, the client, and everyone she worked with, Grant took Maya's project, her name, and her seat, smiling. Grant had just made the worst mistake of his career. Like everyone before it, it was already in writing. He just never scrolled down. She wasn't calm because she'd given up. She was holding two things Grant forgot existed, and one question in that room would end him. That plan on the screen, she built it, every line on her own time.
So, the Meridian turnaround. I built this personally, over weeks. The smartest thing this firm has ever shown you.
Maya said nothing. She folded her hands and watched him dig, one shovelful at a time. Down the table, Priya had gone white with fury. Maya caught her eye and just barely shook her head. Not yet.
A bold plan, Mr. Vance. I'll have questions, of course. I always have questions.
We'll come back to that room and that question, but first, back 3 months to the day Maya first heard the word unviable. 3 months earlier, Maya Okafor was the one everyone sent the impossible problems to and never thanked. Quiet, precise, brilliant. Her director, Grant Vance, was good at one thing, standing where the credit landed. That spring, the firm was losing Meridian, its biggest client, a third of revenue. If it walked, the layoffs would start with people like Maya. Everyone panicked. Maya went quiet and went to work, nights, weekends, her kitchen table, until she found what everyone else had missed. A way to rebuild Meridian's whole service model, cheaper, faster, safe, if you phased it in slowly so coverage never dropped. That safeguard was everything. She could have gone over Grant's head. She didn't. She did it right. She brought it to her boss first.
Maya, cute, but this is grown-up money and this is amateur hour. Not viable. Do me a favor. Stay in your lane and let me handle the client.
And Grant loved his cleverness on the record, so he emailed it. Amateur hour, not viable. Stay in your lane. He forgot it. Maya kept it forever. 2 weeks later, everything shifted. CEO Dana Whitfield pulled the team in. Meridian walks Friday unless someone brings her a real plan. Grant had nothing. Never had, not really. Then he remembered the amateur hour plan he'd laughed out of his office. So he opened her folder and lifted the whole thing into a new deck, slapped his name on the cover and deleted hers from every page. But he didn't understand what he'd stolen. To sound bolder, he cut the part he thought was timid. The slow, careful phasing, that was the whole reason it worked. Maya found out the way you always do, from someone being kind. Priya caught her by the stairwell.
He's presenting your Meridian plan Friday, as his, to Dana and the client. Maya, burn it down. Reply all the whole company tonight.
But Maya still believed in doing it right. So the next morning, before anything else, she took it all to HR. This is where most of these stories quietly end. HR listened, nodded, and asked the question that protects the powerful every time. Do you have proof it was yours? He's a director. She slid the folder across. They never opened it. Let's not make this bigger than it needs to be. That's when Maya understood. The system wouldn't save her. Grant had seen to that. But there was one room where the truth couldn't be buried. Fridays. One shot, in front of the CEO and the client, her director holding every card. Get it wrong and she'd lose more than the fight. She'd lose the job.
So blow it up now, Maya. Screenshots, reply all. Make him famous. Why are you being so calm about this?
Because loud is easy to survive, Priya. If I scream, I'm the bitter one and he's the victim. I won't fight him. I'll let him finish what he started with everyone watching.
So Maya did the hardest thing there is when someone wrongs you. Nothing loud. She got disciplined instead. First, the proof. Her original file sat on the server, version history intact, every draft and date, months before Grant touched it. She left it untouched. Second, the email, his words, his account, the date on them. That night, the reply all almost wrote itself. Every name in the company in the to line, her thumb hovering over send. She read it once, then she deleted it, word by word, and closed the lid. Not yet, maybe not ever. Which meant one small question could bring it all down. A question, not an accusation. It wouldn't even sound like a weapon, just curiosity. One small technical thing only the real author could answer and a thief couldn't fake. She wrote one line on the pad and underlined it twice. She didn't need to write the answer down. She was the answer. The one man sure to ask was the client, Elias Reyes, who'd run Meridian's operations 30 years and always asked about the gap. Maya only had to be in the room when Grant answered wrong and answer right. One problem, Grant had taken her off the project. She had no reason to be in that boardroom Friday, so she made one, honestly. She offered to sit in and run the numbers in case the client had questions. Impossible to refuse without looking afraid. Grant, feeling untouchable, waved it through. Then Grant did Maya a favor she'd never have arranged. Desperate for credit, he forwarded the whole deck to Dana the night before. Built this personally. Enjoy. He forwarded the whole thread along with it, every old reply stacked underneath, all the way down. Buried 3 weeks deep sat his own line. Amateur hour, not viable, stay in your lane. Grant never read to the bottom of anything. Dana read to the bottom of everything. That was the difference between them. It always would be. By Friday, the trap was set, and Grant had built every piece of it himself. All Maya had to do was walk in, sit down, and wait for the question. You've seen how it began. Grant at the head of the table, waving Maya into her seat. Let the grown-ups close it, and Maya quietly folding her hands. Give the man his due. Grant gave a beautiful, polished presentation, selling Maya's plan like it was the story of his life. But he breezed past the technical slides. Big numbers, big vision, no detail. He didn't even slow on the switchover. Then Grant finished and spread his arms for applause, and Elias Reyes leaned forward. The man who always had questions. He had one.
Lovely plan, Mr. Vance. One question. During the switchover, old system down, new system up, what happens to our coverage on the day there's a gap?
There it was. The one question. The one Maya could answer in her sleep and Grant couldn't at all.
The coverage. Right. There's no gap. It's a clean cutover all at once. Old system off, new system on, same day. Seamless.
The worst possible answer. An all-at-once switch leaves Meridian dark for a day, no coverage, thousands exposed. The very disaster her phasing prevented, and Grant had just promised it.
Then you don't understand your own plan, Mr. Vance. A clean cutover takes my company dark for a day. If that's the plan, we're done.
Not the plan failing, Grant failing the plan. The firm's biggest client on his feet to leave. Grant opened his mouth. Nothing came out. That's when Dana spoke, first time all meeting. She didn't look at Grant. She looked at the analyst he'd told to sit this out.
Maya, you built the numbers on this. In your view, what happens to Mr. Reyes's coverage during the switch?
Here was the moment Priya had begged her to seize. The screenshots, the reply all, the revenge. Maya took none of it. She just answered the question, clean and steady.
No gap, Mr. Reyes, but if you phase it, you never take the old system down until the new one's carrying the load. Coverage never drops.
The original plan. Maya didn't have to lean on it. Across the table, Dana went very still. She'd read that plan the night before, and what sat under it. She turned the page in front of her, the email Grant forwarded, so proud, the whole thread attached. In an even voice, she read the bottom aloud.
Amateur hour, not viable. Stay in your lane. You wrote that, Grant, 3 weeks ago, to Maya, about this exact plan, the one you said you built personally.
Every piece of it was his own doing, his email, his theft, and that panicked bluff at the end. Maya never landed a blow. She never had to. Grant built the case against himself and just rested it.
Dana, listen. She helped, obviously, with the data. But the vision, The client relationship, that was all.
The Vision just tried to end our biggest account, Grant. Sit down. You're finished in this room.
The account stays on one condition. She runs it. Not him. Her. I'll take the version she built. The way she built it.
In one question, the man who'd taken her seat lost the room, the client, and the plan, handed to the analyst he'd told to stay in her lane. Grant wasn't walked out. This is the real world. What happened was quieter and worse. He kept his job, Meridian gone, reporting to the woman he'd tried to erase. He lasted 6 weeks, then quit, loudly about how unfairly he'd been treated. It never caught on. People had watched him for years. Now they could say so. Maya took over Meridian and rebuilt it exactly as designed. Reyes stayed 10 more years. 6 months later, Dana made her a director. Grant's old title, Grant's old office.
You could have buried him in front of everyone, Maya. You had it all in writing. Why didn't you?
If I'd thrown the punch, the story's about me. I wanted it about what he did, so I kept the receipts and let him say it himself.
Priya still thinks Maya should have sent the reply all. She brings it up at every lunch, from a nicer office now because Maya's first act as director was promoting her. Remember Grant's smile, the day he told her to let the grown-ups close it? That was the last time anyone in that building feared him. He handed her everything, smiling. When someone wrongs you, every cell screams to swing back loud, but the people who cost you rarely need destroying, they need documenting. Keep the truth calm and in writing and give them enough rope. They always take it. Maya didn't beat Grant. She let him beat himself. That's the last laugh, not the loudest, not the cruelest. The quiet one you barely smile at because you let the truth arrive on its own. So tell me in the comments, if you'd been Maya, could you have stayed that quiet, or would you have hit reply all? One word, patience or fire. Next time, a landlord kept a young couple's whole deposit for damages they never caused and laughed when they said they'd fight it. He forgot about the move-in photos. One photo, one date stamp, and the most satisfying 60 seconds a small claims courtroom has ever seen. If you want to be there when that deposit comes back and with interest, subscribe and turn on the bell. I save you a seat every week. Until then, keep your receipts, keep your cool, and let them talk themselves right off the chair. No screaming, no revenge that costs your soul. I'll see you in the next story.